Thank you. So it's well appreciated and overwhelming to hear that. It's deeply appreciated. It's kind of hard being up here after all these guys and standing in front of this group behind me. But I made a promise, which some of the guys so far have not been able to keep up with. Two promises, basically. One was to keep with my 8 minutes. The other was that Deacon Jones has kind of taken over as the gatekeeper and said that anyone that came up here without notes, he was going to be worried about, and that I would ramble on. So I brought my notes for Deacon. I hope he doesn't mind. I got him, Deacon, just for you. But I do have him on this side. First of all, I want to say what a deep pleasure it is to be standing here today. An immense honor. As the guys have said before me, I want to start off by thanking the Hall of Fame for its welcoming not only my family, but all of our families here this weekend on a very special weekend. Tammy Owens, John Bankert, for all their help throughout trying to get us settled in hotels and seating, and it's got to be a difficult job, and I want to thank you very much for what you've done for all of us. I want to say congratulations also to a wonderful class of 2000. Not in any particular order, but to Mr. Ronnie. I was always been a Steeler fan all my life. I grew up in Monongahela, Pennsylvania. Loved the Steelers then, love them now. It's always scary, though, when I see Joe Green sitting behind me. To Dave Wilcox, whose own son called him a cheap shot or last night. He said he was an intimidator, and I believe him because some of the film I've seen, as you saw, was definitely a force in this league. And another great part of the San Francisco 49er organization. To Howie Long, who chased my skinny butt around for so many years. Asked me to slow down a few times, and sorry I couldn't help him out on that. I think you could understand. To Ronnie Lott, who's meant to me not only on the football field but off the football field what a true man's supposed to be. Ronnie spoke and Ronnie delivered. It's an old saying, you walk the walk and talk the talk. That's Ronnie. When he said something, he didn't just say it. He went out and did it. He was a great example to me to continue. There were times that we were down, and I've had a few injuries in my career. Ronnie was always the first there to pick me up. The same with anyone. In your personal life, on and off the field, Ronnie stepped up. When a guy was in need, he's there. Doesn't matter when, where, how far. His wife will agree with me that he's rarely home because he's fulfilling all these to all these people who are in need. He's always got his hand out, and not to take, but to give. And to me, that's more special than anything. I think when you can say, when you ask someone to stand up for a member of your family, who Ronnie and Karen are the godparents to our youngest son, I think that says a lot about how you feel from your heart about a man and his wife. So Ronnie, I thank you for always being there over those times. It hasn't always been easy, and I appreciate it. I want to start kind of where that film left off because it's kind of left everyone hanging there. And the Hall of Fame is a tremendous, tremendous honor. I had a very difficult time with it in the beginning because I don't think I was looking at it in the proper perspective. I saw the Hall of Fame as an ending point. I mentioned to a couple people that in some ways I felt like, while I'm only 44 years old, I feel like I'm in my grave, in my coffin, alive, and they're throwing dirt on me, and I can feel it, and I'm trying to get out. And it wasn't until this weekend, these past 3 days, with these gentlemen behind me, from time to time, going from Pop Warner to a new team, to junior high school, to a new team, to a high school, on to another team. For me, it was Notre Dame, on to a new team, the San Francisco 49ers, and then on to Kansas City. And in the middle of the night last night, I woke up. I had a whole other speech prepared. I turned the light on, and I told my wife, Jennifer, that I got the meaning, and I got to write it down because I don't want to forget it. I've now seen the light that this is not an ending point. This is a beginning point. This is the beginning of the rest of my life, post-career, with a new team. And take a look at these guys. What a team it is. Now, granted, some of them are on the ugly side, but I can't help that. Try to do the best we can with them. But it is truly an honor to have spent these last days with these guys, people that I've looked up to all my life. I've grown emulating in my backyard, throwing touchdown passes. Can't say tackling somebody. I can outrunning Howie Long, beating Mel Blount. But it's been a joy, and they've taught me the true meaning of what the Hall of Fame is really all about. Because it is a beginning for me, and it's a beginning of a bunch of new teammates and a tremendous, tremendous honor. I want to thank them for showing me the light, not only in my football career, but to what this is all about. And my hat is off to them for what they've proven on the field, and again to me in the last 3 days. I like all of them, couldn't walk away from this podium without thanking a lot of people that helped get me to where I am. We all started in Pop Warner, and I'm going to name off some coaches. I don't know if they're here. Carl Crawley and Cecil Palmer were Pop Warner coaches who kind of taught me the meaning of really not quitting, because as a kid, most guys want to quit the game. I tried to quit at some point between my father and those two gentlemen. Got me back on the field and wouldn't let me quit in the middle of the season. Taught me not to go ahead and be a quitter, to go in and stand in there. And the next year, thank God I came back to play again. I'm on to high school where a man I thought did a tremendous, tremendous job at Ringgold High School and preparing kids not just for football, but for later in life. The man went to bat for everyone. A guy named Chuck Abramski. Two other coaches back here that I dealt with directly that I have seen, and Paul Zolak and Jeff Petrucci. I want to thank them for their support and continuing my growth as a quarterback throughout my high school career. Ara Parsegian and Tom Pagna. Who had the foresight to draft me along with the other 7 quarterbacks. Notre Dame was what I grew up to want to be. It was my first dream in my life, was to go to Notre Dame. I wanted to play for Ara Parsegian, and I wanted to be just like Tommy Clements. And I thank those guys for giving me that opportunity to get to the university. Another man that was very important in my life at the University of Notre Dame, his wife is here with him, Mike and Paulie DeChico, who threatened me many times, who was the fencing coach and our academic advisor, about making sure I was in class on time and didn't miss the class. And unfortunately, I had that card memorized and never wanted to see it. Please report to Mr. DeChico's office immediately. No excuses will be accepted. He became my surrogate father on the road. They took me to their house, and became more than just my advisor. I thank them for their help. Dan Devine, who continued my career with Merv Johnson, Ron Toman, and Hank Kuhlman, gave me the opportunity to fight back at the University of Notre Dame and to overcome some places where I never thought I'd be. All of us picture being at the top of the lineup and always being on the top. But it wasn't always that easy. I had to fight back from being 7th on the depth chart, and they eventually gave me a shot and hung with me in some pretty tough times also at Notre Dame. On to a guy that I had the most fun beating in any Super Bowl, Sam Weich, who taught me the basics of the game, reading defenses, reading coverages, how to study, how to prepare. Paul Hackett, who continued that. Paul, if anyone knows Paul Hackett, a workaholic, work you to death and prepare you to death so that when you got in the game, you didn't say, God, I didn't know about that. You were prepared. Mike Holmgren, his work speaks for itself. Mike continued that, having great success with quarterbacks all over, with Brett Favre, Steve Young, and on down the line. George Seifert, who came in after Bill Walsh, who I'll get to, who gave us a chance, me a chance to fulfill my dream of continuing a Super Bowl career. Look back after that, I got an opportunity to go on to what I thought was another great, great organization in the Kansas City Chiefs, with Marty Schottenheimer, Carl Peterson, who I see here, Mar Hunt, for that opportunity to continue a career when a lot of people were ready to give up on me. But the next few people I think have had the most impact on my life, starting with the man who drafted me, Bill Walsh. There are a lot of things that I learned from Bill throughout my career, but I think the one thing that I continue throughout my life was that want to be perfect, the need for perfection. He pushed me and pushed us, especially the quarterback position, which he was so proud of, to want to be perfect. And if you miss perfect, you end up with great. And that he could handle, nothing else. He taught me to be the same way. The man who presented me here today, Mr. Edward Debartolo. His family, Candy, Tiffany's not here, Lisa and Nikki are here. We've always been very, very supportive, and we've had a great time. But Mr. Debartolo, as Ronnie put it, there are a lot of great owners in this league. There have been a lot, but I can't find one that's been any better than that man. His support to all our teammates, they know what I'm talking about. On and off the field, he was always there. When there was a problem, nothing would stop him from helping. His friendship that has continued long past my playing days and will continue is what I cherish more than anything. It's meant the world to me, my wife Jennifer, and my family. He's always been there for us, and I'll always be there for him. To two people that also brought me into this world, and I think also along the way I got the same sort of lesson about Winning is what's expected of you. My mother and father, Joe and Teresa Montana, brought me along and taught me to never quit and to strive to be the best, because there's only one reason of doing anything that you set out to do. If you don't want to be the best, there's no reason going out and trying to accomplish anything. I thank my mom and dad for always being there through the thick and thin. They sacrificed their life to make sure I got up and down the state to play basketball, baseball, and football. And it wasn't an easy job. Both of them working in the same office. That I can't figure out yet. But they were always there. They took me where I wanted to be, where I needed to be, and got me there on time, and made tremendous sacrifices to see that I was able to accomplish the things, and I had things that they never had, and I appreciate that beyond. I've been there all the way from day one. When I first time I stepped onto a football field, they've all been very supportive, and a guy who I wish could have been there from the very beginning, and I've told him this many times, Peter Johnson, for his guidance throughout the time. Unfortunately, my association with Peter started when I tore the tendon off my elbow, so he's had a rough go with me since then, but Jennifer and I and the family have been very appreciative of all he's done for us. To Jennifer's mother and husband, Jan, for their support. To my kids, Nathaniel, Nicholas, Alexandra, and Elizabeth. Surprised this building's still standing with my Nicholas and Howie's little Howie around, because we both have a huge bill at the hotel for the damage being done. But for their support and their sacrifice also, but most importantly to my wife and also my best friend, Jennifer. It's not the easiest living with an athlete. They'll all tell you. We seem cool and calm on the outside, but inside we're a mess. I mean, there's a lot happening in there, and they got to deal with a lot that people never begin to see. And I love her to death, all of them. And I thank her for her support and her sacrifice. She did the same also. She gave up a career so that I could continue mine. And as often as I don't say it, I do very much appreciate it. Thank you. And to all you fans, Kansas City, San Francisco, all over the NFL, I want to thank you for your continued support, not only for me, not only for these guys, but for all the NFL, because it is the greatest game that I've ever been around. And it'll continue to get better and be the greatest. I want to thank you all for being here and for help making a new dream for me come true. And that's being a part of another great team in the Hall of Fame. I thank you.